Ethereum-based blockchain applications that you can make really fast and really cheap to use compared to regular Ethereum-based applications on the main chain. So how you do this is with something called layer 2 scaling solutions. All right, so we did a video last week about layer 2 scaling solutions, kind of an overview of what they are and how you can actually deploy your projects right now to layer 2 scaling solutions. So definitely go check out that video if you haven't already. I do an in-depth overview of what layer 2 scaling is and why it's so important. So I won't belabor that in this video. All right, but last week what I did, we talked about layer 2s and I showed you how to take your project, all right, and actually deploy it to layer 2 Ethereum, where you can basically take advantage of this and get those benefits that I'm talking about, like faster throughput, more transactions per second, less time for transactions to go through, like they're nearly instant. They're way less expensive, like less than $1 per transaction, okay, compared to Ethereum, which might be about $7 plus per transaction. And so that's a big benefit. I show you how that works in that last video. And in that video, I show you how to take a truffle project, okay, and convert it to layer 2. And the cool thing about this is you don't really have to do many code changes in order to get your project ready to put on layer 2 Ethereum. You can take the existing code that you have and just adapt your project to point it to layer 2 scaling, layer 2 environment to get the scaling benefits of faster, cheaper transactions. So I showed you how to do all that in the last video. So definitely go check that out for an in-depth overview. I'm not going to belabor every single point in this video about how this works. What I'm doing in this video is actually show you how to do this for a Hardhat-based environment. All right, so last time we looked at Truffle, okay, which is the Ethereum development framework that we focus on primarily inside this program. But we have covered Hardhat some. There's quite a bit of demand for Hardhat out in the Ethereum world. It's just really a preference thing. But in this video, I want to show you how to take your Hardhat projects and actually deploy them to layer 2 Ethereum as well. Okay, I'm going to show you how to set that up, how to configure it, all the steps to go through to migrate from Truffle into Hardhat, and then take Hardhat and point it to layer 2 Ethereum. Okay. So real quick, what's the difference between Hardhat versus Truffle? So really, there's just different practices in how they structure their projects and the libraries that they use. So Truffle tends to use Web3 JS. Hardhat tends to use Ethers.js. These are different JavaScript libraries for interacting with Ethereum. Okay, these are the ones we primarily focus on inside this program, right? But this is an alternative way, and there's a lot of demand for it out there. And so I want to show you how to point your Hardhat projects to layer 2. All right, I'll show you all the setup steps. I'll put some code in the description below that you can follow along with, and how you can deploy projects that way. Okay, so there's other differences, right? Like different naming conventions of the app, how the projects are structured. But let's go ahead and set this up. It'll be very similar to last week, but it'll actually be simpler. It'll be faster for me to explain this because you won't have to go through all the rigorous explanations as last time, and the project's a little bit simpler too. So go ahead and check out the code description, code down linked in the description below. This will be a very similar thing. We're going to take just an ERC20 token. This is just a simple cryptocurrency. Again, Ethereum lets you create your own cryptocurrency without creating your own blockchain. You can do this with smart contracts. So we have a pre-written smart contract in here that is a cryptocurrency. It's just an ERC20 token. And we're going to take that Ethereum-based token with that smart contract and put it on layer 2 Ethereum so that you can make transactions for faster, cheaper, all that type of stuff. Okay. So go ahead and download that. All right, we're going to go through the setup steps here. And we're going to do npm install. All right, that's going to install all your dependencies for the project. I've already done this. I'm going to skip this step. All right, but you want to wait for that to finish before you continue. And I'm going to go and open this in my text editor here. I'm choosing some blind text. You can use whatever text editor you like. And let's do a quick scan of the project, see what's inside here. So again, this is a Hardhat project. It looks a little bit different from the Truffle projects, but there's similar basic structure. If you go to source directory, this is where all the source code is written for the project. All the human readable codes, it's organized into back end and front end. Back end where the smart contracts are, and front end is where the React components are for the client-side website that's actually going to interact with this. So on the back end, you can look at the contract directory and you can see the token inside of here. So this is the smart contract code for the cryptocurrency, the ERC20 token that we're going to deploy to the Optimism network. You can customize this however you want to. We just called it the Blockchain Master University token and the BMU symbol, but you can customize this. You can call it MTK, my token, whatever you want to call it, that's fine. You can customize this for deployment. We've done lots of other videos in this program on how to create cryptocurrencies like this. One quick note that I'll mention here about Hardhat and why it's cool. It has a lot of features built into it, like console logging, for example. Like you can do console log inside your smart contracts if you want to debug them. You can see the console log library imported here. They do their testing a little bit differently. There's lots of different things. And if you want to actually read more about Hardhat, you can go to hardhat.org. Okay, this is the website for the framework. You can look at some differences inside of here. You can look at migrating your projects from Truffle to actually see how they do their projects compared to how Truffle does it. Okay. So you can browse this if you want some keynotes on the differences. But the real thing you want to watch out for is how does Hardhat actually point the project to the blockchain. So that's what we want to do is configure the Hardhat project to actually point it to layer 2 Ethereum for Optimism. All right. So what file do we need to change? What do we need to configure there? Well, if you go to Hardhat's directory and you look at this, let's see, hardhat.config.js file. Okay. This is very similar to the Truffle configuration file, and this is where we actually define the different networks. Because again, for blockchain-based projects like this, you can take your project and point it to a variety of environments. You can say, my project here, and then this project might have a connection to multiple blockchain environments. So local environment. This is Ganache. So Ganache is just a development blockchain that we run on our computer. Okay, so if we want to just test things out without risking any money and not having to connect to something off our computer, we can run a local blockchain like Ganache. We just point our project here. Okay, we can also do things like a test network. That's what we'll do in this case is Optimistic Kovan. All right, and then you can also point it to a mainnet. All right, so mainnet is the Optimism. Okay, so we have a file inside here that configures all these connections. We'll have a local connection, test network connection like Optimistic Kovan, and then a mainnet connection. So that's what's going on here inside this hardhat.config file. So inside of here, of course, we have some other configuration that tells how the path for the project directory structure is set up. But we'll have networks, and this is what you want to watch out for. So we can see Optimistic Local, Optimistic Kovan, and Optimistic Ethereum. So we're going to focus on this part right here, how to get your project on a test network. And this is basically the configuration that you want to use, all right? So you can see, we just call it Optimistic Kovan. You can call it whatever you want to here, but it's best to just keep this naming convention, all right, just so that's clear in your project. And you can see the URL here for the RPC. Again, anytime that you are connecting to a remote blockchain that's not on your computer, you need access to an Ethereum node or an Optimism node in this case. And that's essentially what this is right here. This is just the RPC URL. So we're just going to use the default RPC URL for Kovan to Optimism.io. And then for the accounts, this will tell us, what accounts we're going to use. So we're actually going to just use a mnemonic. So you might have seen in some of my other tutorials, I typically do things with I store the developer's private key inside of the project. So many times, let me just show you. Let's start up Ganache. So if you've done other tutorials, you should have seen Ganache before, but if you haven't, Ganache is basically a development blockchain. Basically, let's run a local blockchain on our computer. And inside of here, you'll see 10 accounts that we got for free, okay? And basically, you can see these accounts. This address here is sort of like your username on the blockchain, and then this private key is like your password, okay? Right here. So username and then password, okay? So what you could do is if you have this password, then you basically can generate this username. And that's really common for us to store this private key inside of our project so that we can actually, make transactions and deploy our smart contracts to the network. Because anytime you take your project and you put it on a network, you need to be able to sign transactions, because anytime you deploy a smart contract to a blockchain, you're creating a new transaction and you must sign that from a particular account, okay? So basically, you need to have an account that corresponds to the project owner, and you need to essentially save the private key or like the password inside your project so that you can make that transaction and deploy the contract to the network. So whether it's Ganache, Optimistic Kovan, or Optimism mainnet. Okay. So many times, we just take the private key, right, and then save it like the password into our project. But in this case, what we can do is we can actually take this thing that is this entire mnemonic seed phrase here, okay? And if we have this mnemonic seed phrase, then we can generate all these accounts right here by default. Because this is what's called a hierarchical deterministic wallet, so HD wallet. So we have the seed phrase, and it basically can deterministically generate all these different accounts inside of here. So typically what we do is copy the private key of our project, but instead we're going to copy this entire seed phrase here and put it into our project, and that'll be sort of just a shortcut that we can use for, acting. We can just take this Ganache configuration here and, mirror it from our project. So step one, if you haven't done Ganache, definitely do that. Just search for Ganache development blockchain. You'll find this, download it, install it. Open Ganache, take your seed phrase, and then put it inside your project like this. So you can see this .env file here, this .env.example file. You can see it requires a mnemonic. That's exactly what we're talking about here. So I'll create a new file, all right, called .env. And really, you want to be careful here because you don't want to store any real cryptocurrency inside these accounts, any consequential amount, because anybody who had access to this mnemonic seed phrase could steal your funds, okay? So basically, we just want to say mnemonic, and just copy what's in here. Mnemonic, take it out, and then, go into Ganache, copy the mnemonic here, and then put it inside your project. All right, make sure it's on the same line, and then save, okay? And I'm just going to make sure that mine looks correct here. Sorry, I'm just checking something off screen. 1 second, everybody. Okay. All right, so I've updated my mnemonic here. All right. Okay, so now we have what we need. So basically, we take our Hardhat .config file. You can see that if we're going to point to Optimistic Kovan, then we can do it that way. So now, in order to actually deploy Optimistic Kovan, we need some Ether in our account in order to do that, because we need to sign transactions and then put it on the network. So first, we're going to do is actually take this first account and put it in MetaMask. Okay, so copy this, copy the private key. All right, go into MetaMask. All right, and then go to, we'll see here, account. Let's just try this. I forgot this works sometimes. Go to import account and then paste in the private key. Click import. All right, I've already done this. I'm going to click cancel. But then you'll see your account here, and then make sure you connect to the Kovan test network. All right, so you'll see 0 Ether balance in your account if you've never used this account before, but I've used it. So I'm going to try to get some Ether, because again, you have to fund this account if you're going to deploy it to the Optimistic Kovan network. So this is just a network that lets you test out optimistic Ethereum transactions, a lot like the Kovan network for Ethereum. So you can see this kovan-optimistic.etherscan.io. Here's all the transactions related to the Kovan network inside of here. Okay, so let's do this. Basically, we're going to take our wallet here and we're going to fund it. So we can request some Kovan Ether for free from one of these faucets. You can check out the documentation in your README file. It should be inside of your, let's see here, inside your project. If you just go to README, you can look at this engine faucet. All right, let's see here, engine. All right, you can see these links. And you can go here to request Ether for free, okay? So you can enter your Ethereum address. All right, just click submit. You'll see it, and you'll see it on the Kovan network here once you've received it. Now, this is not the Kovan Optimistic network, okay? This is just the Kovan network for Ethereum. What we want to do is actually request we want to get Kovan Ether on the optimistic version of Kovan. So we have to bridge over to do that, all right? So basically, you'll see another link inside of here. That's gateway.optimism.io, okay? And so you want to go here and say, I want to deposit onto the optimistic version of Kovan. So you can enter the ETH amount. I'll just say like 1 ETH for now. Okay, click deposit. Deposit, and then let's make sure we're on the optimistic version, the Kovan version. Click confirm, and you'll see your transaction here on Etherscan. Let this finish. So this is the Kovan transaction. So this will take a little bit of time. It does take time to get from the Kovan environment to the Optimism environment, but once we're on Optimism, things go much faster. So anyways, wait for this to finish. The next thing you want to do is actually check your balance inside your MetaMask wallet. So you'll see here that you can change networks here, but this does not support optimistic Kovan out of the box. So you have to do custom RPC here, all right, and then actually enter in all these details here. So I put some screenshots in the README here, so you can see optimistic local, optimistic Kovan. You want to enter in the name, optimistic Kovan here, all right. You want to enter the RPC URL, just kovan.optimism.io. You put that here. Chain ID is 69. Currency symbol is ETH, and then block explorer is kovan-optimistic.etherscan.io. So everything you see here. And once you've done that, you'll have a new connection called Optimistic Kovan, and you should be able to see your ETH balance deposited into your account here once this transaction is finished, which it looks like it is now. All right, perfect. So now you verify that your project is connected to Optimism. You have an account that's acting on behalf of your project with your mnemonic seed phrase. It's stored inside Ganache, it's stored inside your wallet, it's stored inside your project, okay? And we have a URL here, and now this account is funded so they can actually pay for transactions and put new smart contracts on the network, okay? So that's all the hard stuff out of the way. Now all we have to do is just deploy our smart contracts to the network. So Hardhat does this with let's just see here. Hardhat does this inside of scripts file. So Truffle has migrations. Hardhat uses just scripts. So you can see a script inside here called deploy.js, okay? So it has a few functions. It has these save front-end files, all right? And then it has this main function that deploys the smart contracts. All right, so it uses ethers.js, so ethers.getContractFactory token. All right, then token.deploy, and then here's your token address. So we can run this migration. We can run the script just like this. We can say basically, let's just copy this and put it in our terminal here, and say this Hardhat. So npx. Let me just bump this up so you can see it better. Let me just move it so you can see it. So npx Hardhat run, so source is the directory, source backend scripts deploy.js -- network, and this is optimistic Kovan because that's what we defined in our file here. So we'll just run this and see what happens. Hopefully it works. So it's going to download a new compiler. If you haven't done this before, let's compile the contracts, and then boom, there we go. So we can see the token address is deployed here. We can check that on Optimistic Gateway, or Optimistic, let's just do optimistic-etherscan.io, pull this up, search the address, and then boom, there you go. Well, this is the, let me make sure this is it, token address. This is 3 minutes ago. I think there might be a delay in the timing here, but yep, there you go. There it is. All right. So I think there's actually a little bit of timing offset because it was not 4 minutes ago. But as you can see how cheap that was, right? That was super, super, super cheap to transfer that compared to how much it would cost to do a token transaction on top of the main Ethereum network. Okay. So that's how you deploy it. Now let's just boot up the app and see that it works. So we have a front end app for this project here. You can also see it. Let's see your front end components. You see app.js file. Okay. Right. You can see all this inside here. All right. So let's just do this. npm run start in a new terminal tab here, and this should start your front end app. Let's check the server, make sure everything works properly. Okay. All right. And boom, there we go. There's your token. All right, deployed to the network. Very cool. All right, so that's an overview on how you connect your Hardhat project to Optimism, and a little tour of Hardhat. Again, we've done some videos on Hardhat in this program, but I want to actually show you this technique and how you can connect your projects to the optimistic version of Ethereum. Again, layer 2s are a big deal. This is a trend that's going to start to take off, in my opinion. This is definitely something you need to understand if you're trying to become a blockchain developer, because we're at the beginning of this adoption. I think this really is Ethereum's broadband moment, where rollup-based technology, whether it's optimistic rollups or zero-knowledge rollups, are really going to help scale Ethereum and push the space forward. So we don't know exactly which scaling solution is going to win out, or which ones will be favored in the long run. But Optimism is definitely one of the first to market, and I have a feeling we're going to see a lot more projects deploy Optimism very soon. We also have Arbitrum coming down the pike, so I'll be doing some videos inside this program about those and how you can get your hands dirty with them, how you can get supported in the projects. So definitely stay subscribed. Be watching the chat for these videos as they come out, because this is definitely cutting edge stuff that you need to stay on top of if you're serious about this space. So hope you like this video. As homework, you can go through and actually set up the optimistic environments locally, just like the last video. There's instructions on how you can do that, how you can run everything with Hardhat. But I wanted to show you quickly how to get your contracts on a test network. So yeah, again, feel free to reach out to chat if you got any questions. Until next time, thanks for watching Blockchain Mastery University.